Hi, this is Dan Long. I want to thank everybody at the Greater Valley Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to speak today at the Tuesday afternoon coffee break. So I'm asked to talk about two items. What is customer experience and how the pandemic changed my business? First, I'll start with a little bit about me. I'm a UConn grad, went on to Fordham, got my MBA with a specialty in quantitative methods, and more important to this conversation, for 3 years I was on the Forrester Customer Experience Advisory Board, and I'm recognized as a Forrester CX Pro. My professional career included a lot of banks. You can see a bunch of old bank logos on the bottom. Before Newtown Savings Bank, I had a consulting business helping people out with their marketing. And after Newtown Savings Bank, I'm back out having fun again. Longview CX and Marketing, providing customer experience services to banks, credit unions, and other businesses. So what is customer experience? Went out to Wikipedia first, seems like a good place to start. I like the start of their definition. Customer experience is the product of an interaction between an organization and a customer over the duration of their relationship. So I know there's a lot of people working on definitions at Wikipedia, so I looked a little further, and there's an editor, at least one, who sees customer experience as a bunch of gobbledygook, as you can see on the screen. So this is not the definition I'm going to use today, although I have worked with people who would find it just fine. Gartner. I like this definition. I'm not going to use it today. I'll explain why. But customers' perceptions and related feelings caused by the one-off and cumulative effect of interactions with a supplier's employees, systems, channels, or products. If we had the time to stop and think about it and break this one down, this is a really good definition. But in the interest of time, we only have a short time, here's one I use more often. It's from Forrester. It's survived over a decade. How customers perceive their interactions with your company. I like it not only because it's quick to grasp, but also it fits in with one of the big items I promote, is that customer experience should be the payoff on your brand promise. Your brand, through its promise, tells customers what they can expect by doing business with you. And the customer experience are your customers saying back through their experiences whether your brand promise is being paid off or not. Can't talk about customer experience without talking about customer service. It's a mission critical component. So customer service tends to be reactionary. You deliver on customer requests. Now, compare with customer experience. It's not a versus, it's not one or the other. So customer experience takes that reactionary and adds proactive. You not only deliver on requests, but you try to understand what the customer wants, even if the customer doesn't ask you for it. And in addition to listening, through your listening, you're trying to interpret their feelings, which gets us back to how they perceive their interactions with your company. Why does it matter? Customer experience, commonly abbreviated with CX. I'm going to give you 3 big reasons why it matters. First is for the money. There is a strong positive correlation between high customer experience scores and high net income. The second big reason we've already talked about a little bit is for your brand. Your brand is making a promise. Do the customers tell you that their experience is a payoff on what you promised them through your brand? Third, I apologize, this is a little bit of a misquote, but I loved this slide. Now you want referrals. And the way you're going to get referrals is only if people remember you. And at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or what you did. They're going to remember how you made them feel. So they need to walk away from their interactions with changed feelings about you. So that's why customer experience matters. There's so many things I could dive into, but not in the few minutes I have. So I've got to pick a couple. So I'm going to pick metrics because every organization has metrics in one form or another. So I think there's a nice tie here. In customer experience, there's three major groups of metrics. The first is interaction. What happens while you're actually interacting with the customer? For example, how long do they have to wait? How many pages on the website are they flipping through to get what they want? The second major group is perception. This is how they perceive the interaction. And it comes out in things like satisfaction scores, ease of use. The third major group of metrics are outcome. What is the end result? Are they going to buy more from you? Are they likely to buy more from you? Are they likely to recommend you? So then, how do you get it? How do you get the information to put these metrics together? So I've put on the right here some of the methods. Now look at the top 4 or 5. Right out of the marketer's toolkit. Surveys, shops, competitive analysis, focus group, customer interviews. Again, marketing, brand, and customer experience all tying together. Look down towards the bottom. The last 3, review customer call support logs, operations reports, sales reports. So these are things operational areas tend to collect. A lot of organizations who already have the makings of good CX metrics, they're just using the information for something other than customer experience. Before I leave this slide, I want to talk about voice of the employee. That's the 4th one from the bottom of that list of methods. It is amazing what employees know, even if they don't know they know. You just need some techniques to pull it out of them. So I wanted to pick a metric. So I picked one that you may not be familiar with the metric, but most of you are probably familiar with the question. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend the company to friends and acquaintances? Most of us have had this question and wondered, what a bizarre question, a scale of 1 to 10. I wonder what they do with it. So I'm here to tell you. So NPS, Net Promoter Score, it's an outcome metric. It tells us how likely somebody is to recommend. So let me explain it through an example. For example, let's say we ask the question of 1,000 customers. Everybody who answered 0 to 6 is going to be defined as a detractor. That means when we go back and ask that same person, can you tell me about the company? They're going to say negative things. And this has been proven through 2 decades of research. People who answer 9 or 10 are going to say very positive things. They're going to promote the company almost as well as the company promotes themselves, maybe even better. People answer 7 or 8, you're going to get neutral. What do you think about this company? Yeah, they're okay. So that's the question, how you tabulate, but how do you actually get the score? Well, in this example, there were 35% of the responses who were promoters. I've circled it in blue. 15% of the responses were detractors. You subtract the percentage promoter minus the percentage detractor, you come up with the number 20. And that's the NPS score. So what does it tell you? By itself, not much. Compared with other NPS scores, though, it tells you a lot. So a company might take today's NPS score and compare it to last year's to see if they're doing better or worse. They might compare it to benchmarks, and benchmarks are available for almost all industries. You might even be able to get NPS scores for your competitor to compare how likely your customers are to recommend you versus some other company's customers to recommend them. So there's lots of positive things here. Let me take it through the pros and cons of using this, because there are some people who don't like it. But the pros, this is easy. I just showed you how to do it. It's real easy. It gives you a great big picture, a wonderful big picture of how the organization is doing overall. As I mentioned, there's lots of history, lots of benchmarks. This is an incredibly easy score to use. So why doesn't every CX professional use it? Well, here's why. By itself, it's not specific. You know you're doing great or you know you're doing poorly, but you don't know why. So by itself, it's not that useful. You need to use it in conjunction of other scores if you want to move the needle. The other thing is NPS tends to move very slowly. You can move it down real fast if you screw up. It doesn't move up quickly, so it's not a great metric to use in an incentive plan, especially if you're paying quarterly. The biggest thing is it's not intuitive. Remember when I talked about everybody who scores it 0 to 6 is a detractor? Well, you might say, Dan, 0 to 10, 6 is right in the middle. How is that a detractor? Well, although it's not intuitive, it is proven through 2 decades of research. Somebody answers the question as 6, and you turn around and you ask them later, what do you think about this company? They're highly likely to say negative things. So now let me take you to, is this a good time to engage in customer experience activities? We're right in the middle of the restrictions from COVID. So some thoughts, no. It could financially be a bad time. You may have employees, they can't report to work, or maybe you have them on furlough. Maybe you're not seeing the customers and you're wondering, how the heck am I even going to find out from the customers? Or you might be thinking, you know what, just provide great customer service and we'll get by. Okay, fair enough. But I'm going to give you yes reasons, and I think there are enough here that you may want to consider engaging in customer experience right now. First of all, your customer's experience with you has probably changed in these times. Also, your customer's experience with your competitors may have changed, therefore how they perceive you compared to their competitor. Their priorities are changing. Here's a big one, and this one also ties back to the employees. Engaging in customer experience, the activities themselves are engaging both to your employees and to your customers. And finally, most important, how are you going to know if you're living up to your brand promise? So on to my second topic, how the pandemic changed my business before it even started. So January 14th, I'm incorporated. It's my first day of business, doing good. A week later, I'm doing great. In 1 week, I've launched my website. I've updated LinkedIn. I've got printed materials. I'm out meeting with people, pitching the business. And what I'm pitching is all in-person stuff. We're all sitting close together, strategy sessions, working on maps. I'll show you some examples. Traditional focus groups. We're all sitting around a table and hands-on, face-to-face working with employees, which I love doing. But that's what I went into this pandemic proposing. So what would it look like? What is the success of this business? I put a little video together. Now this is stock video, but it pretty accurately portrays what an operational or customer journey map would look like. And then we would all get together to put together a picture of the customer to use in the journey mapping sessions. The customer journey map, which looks like an operational journey map, has the same issues in these times of pandemic. You don't want to be sitting close together. I pitch strategy sessions. We'll all sit around the table. And then to end the day, let's all get together and shake hands and say how great it went. So not the greatest model for these current times where it's stay safe. So out went plan A out the window, and now I've got plan B. How did I get there? I made 3 major changes. First of all, I had to look at my lead services. I had to take that in-person focus and make it work online. Could I deliver the same benefits for the same type of services without stepping foot into the client's business? Focus groups, I can get them online. These operational maps, I can get them online. I'll show you a quick example. And the customer journey maps, also put them online. I'm taking a look at, can I do some of the metrics and help them out with surveys without coming on site? Technology. I didn't even own a webcam. Now, for a former banker, I am technology strong, but I still had some hurdles. Getting a webcam was harder to get than toilet paper. So I bought this high-end laptop with a webcam on it. I had been on many, many Zoom meetings, but there's a little skill and a little bit of a purchase to buy the corporate Zoom package to run the meetings. I'm there. I needed a tool to actually run the journey maps. I picked a tool called Miro, and I'm rolling along with it. I still need to update the website. If you go out there, my website still looks like Plan A. And then the third piece, and this one is actually, it's really good for me. I changed my target. Instead of being so local, now I can look at banks and credit unions across the US. It opened up a much wider target market area for me. So here's a quick snapshot of what an online operational or system map might look like. The customer journey map is going to look the same. The big difference is the pink row emotions and the blue row customer experience. In a customer journey map, we've put a persona together of a customer. We've done the research, so we know what the customer experience is because the customer told us what it was. We know what the emotions or the feelings were because the customer told us. For the purpose of an operational map, we are focused on the bottom row. We want to be sure that our operation is in order and that we know what the customer experience touch points are based on our employees telling us before we go out and do the research for the full customer experience map. Let me play this a little bit and I'll show you. I wanted to recreate the in-person experience. So I went with a tool that creates virtual stickies. This is just like what would happen if we were all in person. The other thing that I wanted to capture with the emojis, we're zoomed out so they're hard to see, but you pop emojis on them. And then the other thing I wanted to capture was, during the mapping process, you don't want to encourage getting into a lot of detail. But yet, if you have 2 or 3 managers that are fixing an operational issue, capture it. So this tool, you pop it open, you capture all the detail, you close it up, and the client gets a report back of the map, the flow, what we need to do to go on to a full customer journey, what research we need to do, plus all this detail they captured. I love the quick fixes. So in conclusion, I realize it's like trying to drink from a fire hose in a few minutes to hear about customer experience. Let me give you the key points. Customer experience is about, for the money, you want to make money, you want to deliver on your brand promise, and you want to be remembered so you get those referrals. Don't forget about customer service. It's mission critical. It's table stakes to creating a customer experience. There are inexpensive online resources easily available. Never forget, marketing, customer experience, the brand, it all needs to be coordinated. Keep your creative agency or ad agency involved. They might not be with you step by step in each activity, but keep them involved. They are going to be able to help this process. My final thought is I propose that the brand message and the customer experience are the same thing. They're just flowing in different directions. Your brand message flows out to the community and makes a commitment. Your customer experience is flowing back in. Your customers are telling you what your customer experience is as a validation or a repudiation of the brand promise you made to the community. Again, this is Dan Long from Longview CX and Marketing. Thank you very much for watching this today.